So you've heard of enshittification? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, there was an article about it the other day, wasn't there?
So it's coined by Cory Doctorow, who I think was one of the actors in Lost Boys, the 80s sci-fi vampire thing, the vampires with the spaceships. But, so you know about enshittification, but have you heard of carcinization? You heard that theory?
No.
It's a theory that eventually all living creatures will evolve into crabs, because the crab is the perfect creature, apparently.
Sorry, who do you think coined enshittification?
Cory Doctorow, who was an actor in... He wasn't an actor in Lost Boys. I'm just saying that to trigger people.
Oh, right, fair enough.
I was conflagrating with Corey Haim, but if you're about to actually kind of correct me there, and
Yeah, it's like, what? Yeah, because I was reading it the other day, going, no, this guy sounds like reading the article the other day. Going, this guy sounds like quite a. He's trying to consider things deeply. What are you talking about? You absolute tit of a man.
Yeah, so carcinization is a theory that, well, it's not all living things, but everything will evolve into being a crab eventually. So, bearing those two things in mind, what's it called when every shop on the high street becomes a Greggs?
Gregification and Gregification.
Yeah, that'll do. Right, let's play this. You're listening to the Beat Motel podcast, and we need to warn you that we like to use words like fuck, shit, and syndicalist, butty scrutux, angry flap, and foot biscuits. And we don't often bleep those words out, apart from because we're not complete animals. But if you understand that and you like music, then listen on. Hello, hello, hello. I can tell.
Hello.
It's me and Dr. Sam.
Oh, you've just gone a bit whitewashed.
I'm just adjusting myself. No, not like that. Just, have you ever adjusted yourself during the podcast recording?
Oh yeah, several times.
Oh yeah, it's just a natural part of life, isn't it? Right.
That's what the fans. That's what the people watch it for, isn't it?
That's what the Patreon people get. They pay extra for close-ups of you playing. I was going to say tonsil hockey. It's not tonsil hockey. It's pocket billiards. We used to call it at school.
Pocket billiards, yeah.
I'm still a bit bright.
Wrong. Tonsil hockey is the wrong part of the body.
Tonsil hockey. I always thought that. What's a goal in tonsil hockey? If you're playing tonsil hockey, how do you know if you score?
Making them throw up in your own mouth.
Oh, I saw a video of that on The Word once. That might be one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was baked beans as well, and for some reason, the fact it was baked beans made it worse. Sorry if I just triggered anyone.
Well, I just remember seeing something Joe Lycett on one of his stand-up things with him going. He thought he was gay because he once got off with a girl who threw up in his mouth, and they just put him off the idea.
The string of logic there is really bizarre, isn't it? Because it was her reaction. Did he think that she was allergic to him or something?
No, they were, at some shitty nightclub in Birmingham.
I see. I think we both skipped the whole nightclub thing. I never snogged anyone in a nightclub. Did you? Did you used to go out in your flares and dance the night away until you pulled?
No.
I
was never out all night to get some, and she was in that date rapey sort of vibe that song's about.
Oh, I thought we were going to actually start talking about music, seeing as this is a music podcast, and that's close enough, I suppose. So, unless there's any more nonsense, shall we have your riff of the week?
No.
Okay, I'm going to ignore you and have your riff of the week anyway. So COVID's ripping through my family at the moment, and last time I had COVID, if I tried to have a shower, the sensory sort of overload made it unbearable, and I think that was the oral equivalent of that. So who was that?
That was Midori with yukiko-san from their 2013 album, and I occasionally sort of go when I get into this sort of thing like, oh, there's an exotification of different sort of cultures and things and so on and so forth. But then sometimes the Japanese noise scene just throws up something that's so fucking amazing that you just go, this can't be from any other culture apart from Japan. And I love that. It's 12 years old now at this point. It sounds amazing still. It's got that noise punk thing going on, but at the same time, it's got this keyboard stuff at the same time, piano at the same time, sort of experimental piano going on. And I remember hearing I think they did an EP around the same time, and I was going, oh, this sounds nuts. And there wasn't so much guitar in the mix. They're going, this sounds nuts, this sounds great. And I sort of bought the EP and sort of forgot about them a little bit. And then I just discovered this the other day. And I was going, oh, no, this is fucking so good. This is so good. The singer herself seems a bit crazy.
The video's insane as well. But when do you sit down to listen to this? Is this chin stroking music, or is it going out for a bike ride, or clearing up cat shit?
This is definitely clearing up cat shit. This is sort of like when I'm trying to find something to do rather than just sort of wallow in my own juices. This is good surfing the internet music.
Wow, it's a lot, and I love stuff like this live. Although I think I've mentioned it before, I went to go and see Melt Banana in Ipswich, and I'd seen them before. I didn't last the whole set. I had to go outside. It's just too much. But when I was preparing this, and this is a new thing for this podcast, when I was preparing this clip, I was in beatmotel Executive Studio B. I was in Studio A today, which is why we've got the fancy sign. And
I'm going to keep listening, keep talking. I'm just going to turn my mic and be back.
Okay, well, I'm going to save what I was going to talk about. Dr. Sam's just wandered off. I'm going to save what I was talking about. So I've never explained why there's two studios. So this is the proper studio, and this is where we try and record. The other one's in my house. Now, my house is made of red bricks, and the mortar between the bricks, it was probably quite pale when the house was new. It's a bit darker now because our house existed during the Industrial Revolution. Sam, zip up and sit down. Dr. Sam's back now. Oh, he's got button flies. Well, that makes it even more awkward. Can you fit your willy between the buttons?
No.
Have you tried?
No. I can't get my fingers into one hole to then pick it out.
Now, any women listening, or anyone who doesn't have a phallus, this is how the system works. So, cats, their whiskers are exactly the width of the widest point on thear body. So when cats walk up to something, they know immediately if they're going to fit through it or not.
Do they grow, if cats are particularly fat, do the whiskers grow to accommodate that?
They do, and if they're long hairs, that's why long hair cats have such wide whiskers. Now with men, the same thing goes for our index finger and whether our willy will fit through something. It's just a fact.
Sure.
Right, so while I was preparing this, my wife was in the Mawaf. It's become obligatory to say Mawaf. I don't even know where that's from. Why does Adam Buxton say Mawaf?
He was told that he sounds like a robot every time he talks about his wife. My wife.
I always thought it was because of the old McDonald's advert. Fillet of fish for my wife. Remember that? Okay, this is derailing fast. So when I was preparing the clip, I recorded a reaction from my wife, and it's this. She heard that.
No, Sam, no, that's wrong.
I think that's got to become a thing then.
No, Sam, no, that's wrong.
What's confusing is why
is it wrong? Is it wrong to feel quite turned on by that?
No, Sam, no, that's wrong.
I am, especially as she's got a bit of Pam Ayres twang about her accent there for some reason. I have no idea why that happened. But yeah, that track was a lot. I think I might leave that on the soundboard actually.
No, Sam, no, that's wrong.
Right, so here's my riff of the week.
I propagate eternity and seal it with my kiss. So look into the coffin and let me grant your wish. No more bad news. So you can sleep well at night, and the palace of your mind will be bright.
Gorillaz are such a good singles band. The albums I've just never had any patience for. Like, just they do nothing. But like they occasionally have these singles that are fucking great, and Sparks makes that one.
Yeah, so that's Gorillaz featuring Sparks, the Happy
Yeah.
Dictator. But what a song! I mean, I'd
That's
like
great.
I'd like a little. You can definitely hear the Sparks influence on it. You know, it's played on the
Yeah.
radio, and some people, like Craig Charles said, I think that's a lot more one than the other. I disagree. I think you can definitely hear their influence just in the way the song's constructed. But that's such a, you know, I was massively obsessed with Blow when I was younger, and I just really just wandered away and lost interest. But that's such a classic Damon Albarn,
I
strong,
think-
strong poppy, hooky melody, isn't it?
But I for my money, I would say I find Graham Coxon very easy to love. And then on the lowest ranking level is Alex James, the Tory making cheesemonger.
If he's had children, then he might be a Tory maker.
Yeah.
If he made little Tories.
And then I would say Damon Albarn. I don't know. I think this sort of wistful singing thing he's done since the Universal, it just winds me up. It's sort of like Terry Hall it's sort of like, I don't know, it's Terry Hall without the depression, which you're going, what's the point?
What's the point if you haven't got depression? Yeah, I think it has to catch me in the right mood, and it has to be what I'm hearing in context. So that popping on the radio around in the middle of a load of stuff I couldn't give a shit about was actually quite pleasant. But it's very clearly Gorillaz, isn't it? As much as the la 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 is very clearly Sparks.
But yeah, I think it's a great single, and I said, that Gorillaz occasionally do fucking great singles. Not, the album's just always a bit like, and I think there is an overhypedness to Damon Albarn in and of himself.
Let's stick with the fications. There's an hyperfication.
There's an overhypification of Damon Albarn, in that, I don't know, it just, to me, it's the sound of middle class greyness, and I don't find it attractive because it's something I have to fucking live with.
I was going to say, you see it. You're looking at it right now. I think I was born middle class, and I worked my way back down again. Which I always thought was unfair on my parents because they're both definitely born working class, made their way up to middle class, and just kind of knackered that really. Does class still exist anymore? Does it?
Yes.
It does, but does it matter?
Yes, it does. It does. Of course, it fucking does. Because
I've short-circuited you there.
But I'm coming at it from like a more of a Marxist perspective, whereas the middle class doesn't really exist in a way. The middle class is an imposition to separate us from, the upper class, middle class, and working class. And then you can subdivide that into like the underclass as well, who are the people who aren't really in the system. And then there's the aspirational working class, and there's the aspirational middle class. And Grayson Perry did a very interesting documentary about that. But I sort of go back to the Marxist idea that class is defined by your relationship to the means of production. It's defined by your relationship. Like, if you do not own the things that you use to make your living, as in you don't own the factory, you don't own the buildings, you don't own all these other aspects, you're working class.
I am definitely working class. I
And
don't
on that
own.
basic, but this basic level, like the middle class are mostly working class because they don't own the companies that they work for. They don't own that job. They are selling you sell your skills to someone else who then benefits from that.
So you and I own Beat Motel. So where does that put us?
Petty bourgeoisie.
Petty bourgeoisie, damn straight
I
it
think
does.
I think I think I'm more landed aristocracy, and you're
The plucky, happy-go-lucky something.
yeah, you're yeah.
I'm so in the Fast Show, I'd be Ted, and you'd be what's Ted's? I couldn't say Ted's owner. That's really not what I mean.
So,
the landed gentry.
landed gentry.
Right. So
I mean, I like to think of myself more as a failed Bertie Wooster.
that's lovely. I'm really sweaty today. I think I am. Ill.
COVID. Why is it my mum has COVID as well?
It's ripping through this country at the moment. I would say that based on the fact your mum and my mum have both got it.
I'm looking forward to coming over in that fucking case.
So one member of Blur you didn't mention is Dave Cadbury's.
Dave Cadbury, he's on the likable factor after Graham Coxon.
I think it's interesting because he sort of gets ignored because he's a drummer, and that's the way of the world.
He's very good at his job. He's he's the most invisible Ron, but I've never thought he did anything particularly amazing. But he also he never does anything wrong. He's great. He's like a fantastic drummer in that case.
My dad remembers people. I think I might have mentioned this before. My dad worked for the local government, and Dave Rowntree worked for local government in Colchester, so kind of where Blur are kind of from. And people when he left work that he's leaving because Blur had been signed, just thought it was hilarious. He was like, I'm going to go off and be a millionaire rock star. And they're like, yeah, of course you are, mate. Of course you are. But for every one person like Dave Cadbury who does succeed, there must be so many people who quit their jobs and then just come back again. Or do what you and I do and don't have jobs, because that just makes it simpler. But he's done a few like Route 1 rock star things. So he's got a I think he can fly jet planes. I know he's a pilot, but I think he can actually, like Dave Dickinson from Iron Maiden. I think he can actually fly the big stuff. But he also does some things which are a bit more like Lars Ulrich, perhaps.
He gets up and he has kick drums placed in the studio at points where he can't actually hit them when he's playing.
Does Lars Ulrich really have drums that he can't reach?
That's alluded to in the Sintanga documentary.
No, so Dave Rowntree, like he stood as or is a Labour councillor. I can't remember.
He stood to be an MP.
He stood to be an MP. Yeah. And most recently, I was really surprised when I got an email from PRS. So anyone not in the UK, or potentially anyone who's not a recording musician, PRS is the Performing Rights Society. So as a musician, they're responsible for giving me all my royalties from being played on the radio and playing songs I've written live. I think my last royalty check was, I think it was £3.40, and then they just said if you don't earn up, £25, they're just going to roll it over to the next year until you have earned enough. So I should get another payout in sometime around
2033.
Sometime around my 70th birthday, I was going to say. Then I realised that's only 20 years away. Slightly. I need to get worse at maths. I need to stop working stuff out like that. But so PRS, I got an email from PRS, and it said it was detailing their reaction to being sued by Dave Rowntree. Dave Rowntree took him to the High Court. It's about black box royalties, so I'm not really sort of clear on what that means. But it's basically money that's collected by PRS for people who declare they've played songs, but those songs don't exist. I think that's what it is. So first thing I was like, why the hell is Dave Rowntree like biting the hand that feeds it? PRS, you pay 100 quid. You remember, Sam?
No.
Yeah,
I haven't.
so
No reason to be.
No, I haven't really, to be honest. But you pay £100 to join, and that's for life. You know, it's a pretty sweet deal. I've definitely made my money back over the years. But then I think he's in the position of being able to take stuff to court to get it talked about, and I think that's really cool. That's, you know, say Graham Coxon's really lovable, but Dave Rowntree is probably the one who it'd be really interesting to have a chat in a pub with him. Oh, I used his proper name by accident then.
The black box stuff, is that sort of like the AI is just sucking up and reusing people's ideas?
No, that's a whole different thing. Although Spotify is now actually rooting out AI. Now that is interesting because you'd think Spotify wouldn't give a shit. They just want content. They just want other people's content to make money from it. But I'm still being skeptical. I still think there's a reason why they don't want AI slop in there, other that isn't altruistic, or not altruistic, isn't moral. Yeah, I think there's got.
No. There's nothing about Spotify. They don't give a shit about anybody who's actually creating the stuff that they make their living out of, do they?
Of course not. No, black box royalties. I'll read what I got. Dave Rowntree of Blur sued the UK Music Royalty Collecting Society (PRS) for music over the way it allocates black box royalties. These are royalties collected for works when the correct songwriter or publisher cannot be identified due to missing or incorrect data. Rowntree claimed that the current distribution method unfairly favours publishers over songwriters because more black box royalties originate from situations where songwriters, rather than publishers, are uncredited or incorrectly registered. He led that this has led to some songwriters missing out on substantial royalties that should have rightly gone to them, and sought both damages and changes to how PRS distributes these funds. Now, he's got a few quid. He has a few quid, but he is clearly not going to be one of the people who has the songs incorrectly declared. So if you play live in a PRS registered venue, which a lot are, you have to fill in a sheet that says which songs you've played, and if you're playing covers, who wrote those songs. There's also lots of automatic reporting stuff that goes back.
I
like
never
radio
had to
stations.
do that.
You've never done it? Oh, loads of times. It's brilliant when they're all your own songs because you get like £3 or something for playing your own songs. But, you know, people know who Blur are. That's not going to be a small provincial radio station filling in one of those sheets and writing down, you know, misspelling the name of an act they've just played. So I was on local radio yesterday, and I've got to choose 4 songs for this thing they call the Time Capsule. And the stuff I chose, there is a chance, and I'm not besmirching this, it's called ICR-FM, there's a chance that when they write down their thing, they might... Good example, right? So Noi, I chose Hello
Kitty.
Hello Kitty by Noi. Now, there is a pretty good chance that they might write that down as N-O-Y. So that goes Hello Kitty by Noi goes off to PRS, and PRS system looks up and goes, well, there is no band spelled N-O-Y, so that money just sort of goes goes off somewhere else. So I think basically, well, this has gone on far too long, but I think he's a good egg. I think he's doing something for the genuine betterment of other songwriters.
That's always nice when people get a position of being able to change things for the, being able to use their money to make small but significant changes is good.
The greater good. The greater good.
So what are we talking about this week, apart from Dave Nestle Foundation?
Somehow that's like the most offensive thing that you could call him. It's the thing that's like furthest from where his ethics are, other than if you called him like Dave Cameron or Dave Farage or something. We are talking about how to end side A. And to kick off this conversation, I'm going to play your first choice, which is fucking strong, I've got to say.
Hemisphere. No man's land. There ain't no asylum here. King Solomon, he never lived round here. Straight to hell, boy.
just one of the best songs ever. I genuinely mean that for when it was, what it is, the band behind it, the writing, the experimentation, everything. Fucking good. Why is it? What album's it on? Who is it? And why is it a good end to side A?
Oh, it's on. What is the album title? It's on Combat Rock, which followed Sandinista, which also has an incredible ending to side A as well, which is something about England. It's 1982. It's the last album that Nicky Topper Hedden was on for The Clash, and probably the last official Clash album in many ways, and probably the one that he shines out on the most, because he also does some pretty amazing sort of stuff on some of the other tracks as well. He wrote the song, which song? Oh, come on, which one? For fuck's sake!
So while you're trying to think, he played the kick drum on this as well, and he played it with a lemonade bottle wrapped in a tea towel. And that's a fact. That's not me being a dick. That's true.
He wrote Rock the Casbah, and so he wrote two of the greatest songs, or he had a major contribution to two of the greatest songs the Clash did, but also the Clash. I mean, I think Mick Jones and someone else said
who wrote Rock the
Top of
Casbah?
Hedden.
Did he really? Bloody hell!
Yeah. He put it together when everybody else was late to the studio, and they came in and they went. He said, "I've got something," and they went, "Oh right, that's great." And it wasn't, and I think it was, that's the story that I remember of it anyway. But yeah, I mean, that I chose that bit of the song because of the drum break. I mean, that's just like, there's nothing else like it. It's one of those moments where it's just an incredible piece of music. And to me, it remains, I think, of the Clash, it remains the highest of the high points that they did. It is. You can hear the dub, but it doesn't just sort of do dub as, the dub influence. It doesn't just do dub as dub. The guitars are, amazing. Joe Strummer's sort of probably best vocal performance in many ways. And yeah, it's just an incredible piece of music. And yeah, my favorite Clash song. And it's long remained. And I don't think, I'm so angry if someone tries to do it live, because you could never do it live. It's too fucking good.
So famously, the Clash kind of had a shitty record deal. They sold a lot of records, and one of those bands that didn't really make what they should have made from it. But going back to PRS, I like the idea that Joe Strummer's family, or his estate, because he's died, of course, bless him, would have benefited massively from MIA covering this. So the MIA track Paper Planes, do you know that?
Yeah.
Which it sounds bloody amazing. I think that's quite cool, and giving it a new burst of life. I like it when that happens. Like the Arctic Monkeys used a John Cooper Clarke poem for the lyrics for one of their songs, and John Cooper Clarke's like, "Finally, I've got money." Being a poet doesn't exactly buy you a sports car.
I can see this becoming a bit of a this is going to be a theme, because my next choice also has something that is very directly apropos to this.
So does mine. So I'll play mine, but I'll play it, and then I'll tell you why the sort of the commonality I see between the two. I mean, some minus points need to be awarded for having a fade at the end of side A. But the
Oh
drumming,
no, I'm fine with a
you're
fade.
fine with a
at the end
fade.
of it. Yeah,
But the end of that, it's that little shuffle going along, and then just as the song starts to fade out, it has those sort of stabs, which I think it just. I'm just going to see if I can play just those bits. Oops, sorry. Just that little sort of. That's not anywhere else in the song, and like just saving it just for the end. But I think that's enough that when.
Who is this? What is this? What are we talking about?
Stone Roses, a song called "Bye Bye Bad Man." See, I want to talk about it before telling you who it was, but the album.
I'll pretend I don't know who it is.
So
Who is it?
It's the Charlatans. No, it's the Oasis. But imagine listening to the album for the first time on vinyl. I think part of the job of End of Side A is to make you really want to flip over and listen to Side B immediately. It's really like, okay, look, this is where we're going. This is, you need more of this. And The Clash, Straight to Hell would work as a last song, I think, as well, just as a real kind of like coup d'etat. Is that the right phrase?
Yeah, but I'm really glad that they don't make you wait for it.
Yeah, exactly, because The Clash aren't jerks. So what was the comment? What were we talking about?
People getting paid.
Oh, people getting paid. Well, actually,
Become the sub theme of the.
So Stone Roses famously didn't make any money from their first album because they got signed to a vinyl only deal at about the time CDs got really big. So they didn't make any money. And there's loads of really shitty stuff around that album. So the best song on it, "I Am the Resurrection," gets played on Six Music relatively often. Craig Charles Yesterday, and they always play the basically they lost their deal. Well, they left the record label, so the record label started remixing really shitty remixes of the stuff, which must be infuriating if you're in the band. And it's always one of the shitty remixes that Six Music played. And at the end, Craig Charles, this was yesterday, said, "Of course, that's a Stone Roses from 1992." And I imagine a good number of people listening to the radio shouted out, "No, it's 1989 because it's not 92. That's the shitty remix." And I'm going into far too much detail on that. Should we move on to your next choice?
Sure, why not?
I like it. That is just hip hop. I mean, it's not hip hop, clearly.
God damn! Get off your ass and jam. Hold on, I just want to do some. I want to do a calculation.
Calculation. Can I say who it was?
Yeah, go for it.
So that's Funkadelic with, as Sam said, "Get off your ass and jam." Don't sit on your jam. It's very uncomfortable, especially if it's still in the jar.
So that's from the album. Let's Take It to the Stage, and it wasn't released as a single. It's got far too much, swearing in it. And the guy who played that solo was a junkie, white guy, never got paid more than $50 at a time, which was now $301.09.
What, with adjusted for inflation?
Adjusted for inflation. So he never got paid. He basically, the story of it is quite a famous story behind it, but George Clinton said in his autobiography, "We finished one take, took a smoke break or something, and noticed that a white kid had wandered into the studio, a smack addict. We didn't know him at all, but he said he played a little guitar and he wanted to know if he could play with us and pick up a little cash from the process. We set him up, started the track, and he just started to play like he was possessed. He did all the rock and roll that hadn't been heard for a few years, and he did it for the entirety of the track. Even when the song ended, he didn't stop. All of us were there goggled-eyed, saying, "Damn, we agreed on $25, but I gave him 50 because I loved it."
It's a wild solo. I mean, what a
Yeah.
story as well.
So no one knows who the fuck that kid was.
It didn't get his name. Just that.
He wasn't a friend. He didn't someone who hung out at the studio. He has no, and that track is heavily sampled track in hip hop. It's been sampled by Public Enemy, Eazy-E, Tribe Called Quest, N.W.A., Ultramagnetic MCs, Tupac Shakur, Ice-T, even Primal Screen has done it. Also, so like, but Funkadelic Parliament are a band that, if you want to sort of see how shitty the music industry can be beat to African Americans, it's quite a good sort of story about that. But fuck, like, that's crazy. The kid just turned up. He's a smackhead, and they went, "Oh yeah, why not? Fuck it, give it a go. Go, go. Oh, that was really good. Here's a little extra." And never see him again.
So yeah, if he had been in the UK and part of PRS, and they actually declared that he'd played on it, then he would have got, I don't know if he would have got a lot of money, because, well, Funkadelic did sell a shitload of records, didn't they? They're another band that I don't think particularly got rich off it. Or did they get rich and George Clinton just spent it all on that massive spaceship?
That was the first time they made money. That's what he convinced them all to do.
Because fuck it, why not? Let's have a big spaceship. I always think bands at that point probably think, right, that's it. I'm sorted for life now. Yeah, we can spend all the money we've made from this album. We'll just knock out another one, and that's a very perilous situation to be in.
I think George Clinton probably did make a hell of a lot of money, and most of it went up his face.
Up his face, up his crack up his crack.
Yeah, I mean, he's sober now, and he seems pretty together, and he seems like, has a sense of humor about everything. But him and Sly were good friends and not very productive at the same time.
Not very productive. Did you watch the Sly documentary? I really like the end of it, where his kids are just going, "It's just an old dude now. He just sits in a chair, he's living out his life and having a lovely old time." I was like, that's such a happy ending, really. It's good for what it could have been. Right, so I'm going to move on to my next choice, which, now, if I'm honest, the drum variations at the end of Straight to Hell, and I said, all right, my next choice has got a similar thing. I was thinking of this track, not the Stone Roses. So I'm going to cast your mind back to The Clash when hearing this. Oops, slightly clumsy edit there. I was listening. No, it's not drum variation. It's a drum loop, but doing something you'd never do with a drum loop, and that's saturating it in delay, because you don't put delay on drums because they go out of time. But I just think that's a lovely end to side A on a really good album that I've talked about before, because it's kind of playful, and it's almost like a moment's breath before the next big stomper of a track. Do you know who that is?
No, who's that?
It's a band called Manson, as in.
Oh, I heard of them.
Yeah, named after a man called Sun, which is a track by The Verve, and the song is "Stripper Vicar," which is about a member of the clergy who worked, I'm assuming, on the side helping decorators. So he went into places and removed the old paint from door frames and stuff. So yeah, Stripper Vicar. But I also chose this because I've always been interested by the production on this album because it's kind of odd. It's kind of strange. It's not like a lot of its contemporaries. So this is pre-Britpop. This is sort of 93, 94. And production then was quite polished. Indie was either lo-fi or very polished. Very polished if you're on a major. They just like dropped a certain sound in. You can hear on the first Blur album, they've got the sound that people had at the time. But Manson were formed by a guy who was a journalist for the NME, I think. Oh, we could just do an episode on journalists for the NME who became famous for being in bands, because there's quite a lot of them.
I don't know anything. You can do that. I don't know anything about. Okay, I never read the Enemy much.
I can only name three actually. There's him, Paul Draper. There's Tom McRae, who I know his real name because he's from my village, and Gay Dad. Do you remember Gay Dad? And he produced this, but I don't know if he's got any production skills or abilities prior to this, and it's odd because it is on quite a big label. But I just think it's a good Enter Side A on a good album. It works for the pacing, and I think it interests me that obviously albums don't get made in the same way. With Zeeb, one of my old bands, we kept the A side and B side, even though we never released vinyl. All the releases had side A, side B. Well, actually, the second album was side C and D, and the third album was, we just kind of went on and on and on, like it was like one massive album. But
it's interesting, I think pacing for a CD becomes very different from pacing from a piece of vinyl. And it was the Clash who sort of taught me that in a way, because when they did their last wholesale remasters and remixes of their stuff, they put in some gaps to sound like to make it sound like the vinyl's being changed over, and it made me pick up my ears and at certain points, because otherwise I'd always listen to the Clash as just as a CD, frankly.
I just remember something else. The first Zeeb album, end of side A, we recorded a record getting to the end and then auto returning, and then the arm going back, because we so wanted it to be end of side A that we thought that will kind of help complete the picture in people's minds.
What? Yeah, we at the end of the Piss Resistance album, we've got something similar, but it's much more. It's an outtake from Colin, our singer, going, "That was shit. Do it again."
Right at the end, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to move on. I'm going to check the inattentive minds timer, and I'm going to move on to your next track.
Do nothing till you hear from me. Pay no attention to what's said. Why people tell the seams of anyone's dream is over my head. Do nothing till you hear from me.
Just looking up facts about this, the original title was Concerto for Cootie. And I thought, what is cootie? Is that a vagina? Or is it like what they call any communicable disease in America? What are cooties? Did you ever figure it out?
What was the...
Well, in America, they'd always like, no, you've got cooties, or it's okay to kiss me, I haven't got cooties. And I never figured out what cooties were. You don't know either, or are you looking it up? You probably ought to say who that was. Shall I say who it was?
A baby louse?
Oh, is that what they... Oh, a baby mouse.
A louse, baby louse.
Oh, baby. That would be strange. Like, you can kiss me. I haven't got any baby mice in my pockets.
It originated as a 1940s instrumental by Duke Ellington to highlight the player, Ellington's lead trumpeter, Cootie Williams.
Ah, so he's not singing about baby mice at all.
No, or vaginas.
Or vaginas. That voice is one of those voices that no one comes close, and no one has probably tried, because how would you do that?
You know the last person to cover that song?
Did they try and sing it?
No, well, yeah. It's Mary J. Blige. I'm going to have to listen to it. Mary J. Blige. That's probably... Robert Palmer's done a version. Who else? Weird.
But not trying to sing like... so it's Armstrong and Ellington. We didn't actually say who it is.
Yeah. From the album... what's the album called? Recording Together for the First Time. Yeah, this is 1961. This is 1961, and it was just sort of them doing their sort of... I think it was Ellington conducting Armstrong's band. It's just great. It's a fucking great album, and it's just a great song. And it just it's got such a cheek to the lyrics. It's got it's a bit rascally,
Rascally, yes.
Yeah, but it's basically the story of the lyrics is he or she is having an affair because Billie Holiday's, and Patti Page and Ella Fitzgerald has covered it as well. So they're running around behind their partner's back, and they're saying, "Don't listen to anybody. Why would you listen to anybody until you hear from me? Don't believe anything you hear. By the way, I'm not coming back."
Right. So, so why is it a good end of side A?
I don't know, just sort of like it's got a jaunty, lovely rhythm songness to it, and it's really lovely. It's a really lovely thing. It's a really lovely thing.
By song choice 3, I have to be honest, I was starting to struggle a bit because I've got so used to not listening to vinyl and not really sort of giving any thought to what.
Oh yeah, I mean, look. I did actually do some fucking research for this. It's not like this was just like, oh yeah, I have 4 off the top of my fucking head.
Yeah, we had to work for this one.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Not very hard.
So I'm going to move on to my third choice, which is this one. Expecting just another dumph at the end of that. That's a proper song ending. That is.
Yeah.
That's a proper song ending.
Not as good as a fade out.
Do you know who that was?
No.
Oh, I thought you might know. It's R.E.M.
Not an R.E.M. person.
I'm not.
I'm not a remmer.
A remmer. I'm not post. They got massive in the UK with Automatic for the People, and I was sort of into the stuff before then. I'm not a huge fan of everything from that point on, so this is much older, and this was on... oh crap, I'm gonna have to check. I was going back thinking of albums that I knew. So what album was this on? Albums that I knew from vinyl, because I rejected CDs for I was going to say for a long time. I was a teenager, so it was probably like 2 months, and only listened to stuff on vinyl because I thought CDs were just a nonsense, complete rubbish, not as bad as cassettes, but just total junk. So I was trying to think of albums I absolutely adored, but probably haven't listened to for a long time, that I might be able to pinpoint as having a side A and a side B. And then I listened to this song, and I just thought, yeah, it's from Fables of the Reconstruction. I don't think it is. I think... AI's got that wrong. I think it's on eponymous.
I can't believe you're trusting. I mean, look, at least I'm on fucking Wikipedia, not some pissant make up shit. Fucking AI system. You're brain rot, fucking useless.
So there's
Awful.
that. I just thought
Awful.
it was a proper end of a side, almost as strong as the end of an album, but it wasn't. It was just the end of a side.
Stop using AI.
No, Sam, no, that's wrong.
Right, your next choice forced me and Emma to have to watch the video for it because it's a banger.
Bellowing instructions from the touchline, that's my dad. Purple in the face, getting really mad. Man on, an empty stadium, yes, man on. Come on, the cross.
It hurt. Sometimes it really hurts cutting off to the 30-second limit that we have.
Yeah, that's Richard Dawson with Two Halves, and it's from his 1999 album 2020. 2019 album 2020. And on the vinyl version, that's the end of side one, but it's also a form of vinyling that I don't particularly appreciate that much in a weird way, which is it only has like 3 tracks on each side, so feels like you're getting up and turning it over really quickly, and it just gets a bit grating.
It's only got 6 songs on it, really?
No, it's got like, but it's a double album, so some like Two Halves, and then the next one is Jogging. Then the next side might have like 2 songs, and then Fulfillment Center is 10 minutes long, and so that's probably a side in itself. And I don't know that I find that's a little bit. I find the splitting up of a 10 track album into 4 sides of vinyl a bit grating, but that's the end of side A. So that fulfills that criteria. But
so song 3.
It's song 3, but it's such a brilliant song. It's such and I don't know. He's done great stuff since, but just nothing quite as good as that album. Particularly, I'd say Two Halves and Jogging.
Jogging's the song that people shout for.
Yeah.
Well, the 2 times I've seen him. The second time I saw him was really interesting. It's in a venue called St Stephen's in Ipswich, and it's part of Brighton the Corners. I saw him there the first time as well. And I've missed him a few other times that I should have seen him, like at the last ATP in Prestatyn. But somebody came on before he played at St Stephen's and basically went, "Look, will you just shut the fuck up and actually listen to him?" Because it's one of those venues, it's in a church, so the PA can't go very loud. And when you watch bands, unless they're like a hardcore band like Rad Pit, you can generally, it's like, just like a constant chattering noise. But before Richard Dawson, they were just like, "Look, have some fucking respect." Because it was just him with a guitar, and he had a drummer doing a few bits with him.
I don't know. I don't. Sometimes, yeah, people should shut the fuck up, and other times, I'm sort of the opinion that, you know, we're the paying audience. You should also have to work for our attention, rather than have our attention just given to us. And I think people should be given a chance. I do think people should be given a chance. But if you can't sustain that interest in it, I don't think that should be sustained. I've gone through some astronomically boring stuff that everybody's just so quiet for, and I've just sat there or stood there just going, "This is shit." And to be fair, if I start talking to my friend, they go, "I'm watching this, Sam. Shut the fuck up."
Oh wow! Okay.
But yeah, I'm not convinced that people should automatically have our attention. I do think there is an argument to be made that music was more exciting when musicians have to fight for the attention rather than expect it.
Well, like a musical or early theatre.
Yeah.
Stuff, you had to, even like Shakespeare, you had to, the performers had to dominate the audience.
Yeah, classical music is all full of that. You know, a lot of stuff like Mozart. The reason why it's so ridiculous and over the top and bombastic, there's so many explosions going on musically, is to try and shut the fucking audience up.
Yep.
And that's exactly the same with like a lot of jazz as well.
Also,
Pre-1960s jazz, yeah.
I think sometimes it can just be the wrong venue as well. I mean, I put on a Christmas gig years ago, and I put on, it was at the Steamboat, which is a pub. It's a pub. So I brought in this bunch of friends called the Kettle Girls, and they do like close part harmonies, and they did a load of Christmas songs, and there was a storyteller as well. But all their really sweet harmonies and stuff was ruined by a bunch of blokes the other side of the bar going, "Why the fucking hell, you fucking Spurs, you know?" And I was just stood there going, "Why the hell did I put this on here?"
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the fault of the blokes because they'd gone to the pub for a pint.
Yep.
That, you know, if you can't have a chat with your mates at the pub, then what's the point of a pub?
At the same time, if you are having a conversation on the side of a mosh pit, fucking move away.
Yeah. Right, we're running out of time, so I'm going to play my last choice. And I'm glad you deviated slightly with your last one, so I'm going to play this. The band themselves despise that song. Do you know who it is and what the song is?
No, who be that what thing?
That's Suede. And they released a single between Suede, the first album, and Dogman Star, the second album. They released this. It's called Stay Together. And I chose it because the style at the time was to release 12-inch versions. Some bands would release a 12-inch version of a song. And Stone Roses did it with One Love and Fool's Gold. And the 5 minutes of it that was longer than the 7-inch version, I always thought you've got to do something interesting with it. It's got to be a reason for it to exist. It can't just keep going on. And if I was being skeptical, then 12 inches cost more than 7 inches, so the record labels made more money. But Suede released this, and Brett Anderson talks about it in his biography, and he just said it was just Suede by numbers. He said, we didn't even really put much effort into it at the time. It was just Suede being Suede. But that horn section at the end, I still don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so bloody weird. It's just wrong. I mean,
say it again.
Lovely guitar, lovely guitar.
Is that a horn section?
Do you know what? You say that. I've always assumed it was a horn section, but knowing what I do about that recording, I can remember watching interviews with them in the studio while they're recording it. Bernard Butler.
What's it called again?
It's called Stay Together.
Stay Together.
But one of the facts I've got is that there's 50 tracks of guitar on that.
That's what I was thinking. That the guitars, if it's a horn section, they are being blended together with the guitars to sound like one instrument.
I think so. I chose this because it is end of side A, but it's a 12-inch single, so it's just just one song.
Okay.
I think you could be right.
The only time there's been brass, according to Wikipedia, I don't think that they don't say there's been a horn section on it. Suede played the full 8-minute version of Stay Together at the final encore of their Teenage Cancer Trust gig at the Royal Albert Hall, Sunday 30th March 2014, backed by a string and brass ensemble.
Okay. I still think it's weird. And this is weird. This is a song that's got Brett Anderson.
2012, Stay Together was placed number 3 on NME's 100 Best Tracks of the 90s.
Oh.
2015, NME has also included a single in their list of 50 must-have EPs. It was ranked number 25.
I still think it's weird.
After its release, the band largely disowned the song.
It's got Brett Anderson rapping on it, which is a treat, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Anderson doesn't like it.
I need a wee and we've run out of time. Do we have a conclusion?
No, Sam, no, that's wrong.
Oh.